All right, say a few words one more time, Tara. We're gonna get a little sound check.
This is T Quest. I'm here on
Are we,
107.5
are we good?
FM.
Are we good, Maria?
This is the one and only T Quest. I'll be being interviewed on 107.5 FM today. And I just want to say shout out to everyone who's tuned in and let's have some fun.
Doing real good this morning, and thank you for asking. And as always, the first thing we do, we want to thank God for waking us up today to do His work in His will. Good morning to you, Sister Maria, the outstanding program director at WVFG 107.5 FM in Uniontown, Alabama, on this great Thursday morning, March the 24th, 2022. Good morning to my main man, Charles Jr., the great owner of the station. Brother, hope you're listening in this morning. Once again, we want to thank you for opening up the airways Monday through Fridays as we bring on the very best of humanity, white and black, male and female, young and old. We're all God's children. Good morning to my Uniontown, Alabama family, 8 surrounding counties, and throughout the great state of Alabama. Gets the opportunity to hear this great station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the voice of the community. WVFG is partnered up with Chili Most and the International Stop the Violence in Love with Love campaign with one goal: to break down the barriers of age, race, gender, and religion to change the mindset of humanity. And I'm asked each and every day, brother, how you going to change the mindset of over 8 billion people with all the chaos and violence in the world today, and not just smile and reply by putting God first and saving the young people of the world? They are the future. And God is there to make it. As we go down this road together, I've been so very blessed to meet so many great unsung heroes and sheroes that's made tremendous impacts in their own community, for our great nation, and for the world as we built this spiritual family nationally and globally. And as all, the month of March, the world honors this Women's History Month. But as I always say, that's every month of the year. It should be honored every week, every day, every minute, and every hour. Should be We should honor our great women who was the backbone of the family and the backbone of the universe. So today we have on a young lady. I'm so proud of this sister here. I mean, she has so many skills. I can't wait to hopefully meet her one day when I'm out on the road, if it's God's will. She does so many things. It would take about 2 weeks to have a show on her every day to try to catch up with everything that she's doing. She's a radio personality, a journalist, event host, voiceover specialist. She was a Fleet DJ Lady of the Year. She'll explain that to you a little later. Owner of T-Quest. She's an entrepreneur, queen of the global culture entertainer, host of the T-Quest show, Pinterest, as they call it. She writes for Straight Official. She's Alex Couture and the Quest Effect magazine. She writes for all those magazines. She's owner of Gotta Love Me Radio. We definitely love her. She's the owner of the GLM Designs and Collections. She's a producer, graphic designer, recording artist. What else can this young lady do? I guess we'll find out in a minute. She's the multi-talented, well-renowned Sister Tara T. Quest Little. How you doing this morning, Queen?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. How are you?
It's just always good when you talk to a queen, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So we're going to get it rolling now. Sister Tara, we always start out with family. Family is so important. So share with our listeners where you were born, any brothers and sisters and your parents.
I was born in Stamford, Connecticut. My mother, Audrey, my father, Roy. And I do have some siblings, 2 older sisters, and a younger brother. And I had an older brother, but he passed away.
Okay. Now, since this is Women's History Month, give us the name of your mom and tell her what she instilled in your spirit that's still rocking with you today.
My mother's name is Audrey, and she instilled me just being an amazing young woman, a hard worker and entrepreneur, and always remember to keep God and my family first. because both of my parents are ministers, and I was brought up in a positive, amazing household, and my mother instilled a lot of things in me. That's why I am the amazing woman I am today.
You said both of your parents were ministers?
That is correct.
Wow. We got to get them on the show. I'd like to hear their spiritual journey. I know that's amazing.
They will love that.
Now, I'll definitely going to love them. Now, education, I know Stanford, Connecticut. What grade school, middle school, and high school did you attend there in Stanford?
Well, to be honest, I went to 11 schools, so I'd rather not name all of them.
Okay. Okay, good. Why you go to so many schools, T-Quest?
You never know where life is going to take you. There'll be certain circumstances, from moving, house fire, a death, a new beginnings. There's always different reasons, but that just happened to be my journey.
So out of the 11 schools, which ones stand out to you? Was it the grade school, middle school? Is any one of the 11 or two of the 11 that stood out to you as you was moving around?
The one that stood out the most was my high school, because I was there for 3 years and I had a moment to just relax. So yes, high school for
I know
sure.
that's right. You were moving around. So what's special about Stanford, Connecticut, that community? What's special about that community? And did you have any mentors as you was rolling around?
Well, since I was born there, I was a child when I was there. So the most
Mhm.
special thing is that's where I was born.
Right.
And the main reason why we left is because my brother drowned at the beach across the street, and just didn't want to stay there any longer. But that's where I was born. That's where I grew up. That's where I started my music career, singing in the church. So it will always be a special city to me.
So as far as mentors, is there any one person that stands out in your mind that as you was evolving that helped you along the road?
Not as a child, no, but just my mother, if I had to say anybody, was my mentor, because she's the reason why I am the woman I am today.
How old was your brother when he drowned? I knew that must have been terrible.
He was 14.
Wow. God have mercy. Well, definitely send our prayers out to you and the family.
Thank you.
I know that must have been very traumatic. Now, at a young age, Sister Tara, all these different things you do, what was the first thing that sparked this love for music in you?
As a quiet child, music was always my outlet. So I started as a writer, and I just love singing. Like I said, I started in the church. So I just always loved writing songs until I got older and was blessed to able to record them and then start
So
performing them.
you started out in church. How old were you when you started in the choirs? Tell us about your experience in church as a singer.
I was a child, so probably around age 5, 6, 7. I started at a young age,
Okay.
and even though I was quiet, if there was a solo, I make sure that I let them know that I wanted it. Because I
Well,
love to sing.
you was quiet until they gave you the mic, huh?
Absolutely.
The theme of this show is fight for your rights, Sister Tara. That's the dedication to Dr. King. And I know you way too young. You look like you about 20 years old. So I know you wasn't around when Dr. King was assassinated. But April the 4th, as we coming up on April the 4th, is another year as we look back on the assassination of Dr. King. So as you look around, what does Dr. King's legacy mean to you as a human being today?
I mean, everything he stood for is amazing, because he just want us to be respected. He want us to be treated as equals. He want us to have a voice and it be respected. And that resonates so much in my life. Even as an entertainer, I have a voice that needs to be heard. I have a message that needs to be heard. As an entrepreneur, like, I need you to see me. I need you to love me. I need you to respect me as a woman, as a Black woman. I'm not lesser than you. If me and a white counterpart is going out for a role or something, or even in the job force, I should not get less than because of the color of my skin. So I love the whole foundation and his belief of what he stands for. And I just wished more people in our community will not let that slip and fade, because even though things is evolving, when it comes to us, it's evolving a little bit, but we should be making more progress, and it's up to us to make that happen.
It's Women's History Month this month, and as you were speaking, I was thinking about, we've come somewhat of a ways, but we, you see Sister Kamala Harris and Vice President, you see the young lady Ketanji Brown who's getting ready to be on Supreme Court. But why is Women's History Month so important? It should be every month, but in your mind, I know you're a powerful young lady, very talented. Why shouldn't they just do it on the monthly basis? But why is it so very important for women to have their stories heard as equally as men?
Because even though traditionally the man is the head of household, in my opinion, the woman is still the backbone. The woman, we all come from the woman's womb. It starts from the woman.
Right.
And the woman has to hold down the house, the children, and make sure her husband is okay. Women play such a major part, and it's not as respected and highlighted as it should. So it was such a wonderful thing that we did get a month, even though women should be honored every day. Everyone should be honored every day if you're doing something great in society.
Now, I know you started out wanting to sing and you're doing it in church, but when did you, as you was evolving in junior high school and high school, when did you get this spark to do some of the other things that you're doing currently? Where did that come from?
Well, since a young age, I always knew I wanted to be an entertainer, even when I was quiet. I was a nerd in school, but after doing my homework, I always went right to writing and music. And I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And as I grow older and, working regular jobs, I always felt uncomfortable. I didn't think that I was better than them. It just didn't feel right me working for someone else, especially if I didn't believe the way that they handled the business, the way they treated clients and customers and employees. Is just so a negative environment. Like, I can't have that. I need to be an entrepreneur where I can really genuinely help people and guide them the right way. I want to be in my field where it's love and happiness, so it doesn't really feel like I'm working. That's why with everything that I do, it all goes back to music and entertainment. So I'm in the realm of my gift and my talent, but at the same time, as I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I'm helping others as well.
So let's go down your show business career so far. The best is in front of you, of course. How did you first started kicking off? Was it as a radio personality, as a journalist? When did you start putting together this whole T Quest concept?
I started as a journalist years ago, just, networking and connecting with different people. Every time I went to different events and I heard of a magazine, I started I befriended them, and then I told them I was a writer, and they was like, "We'd love for you to write for our magazine." So I started an advice column back then. Inquiring minds want to know. And then as a radio personality, I started something like this, just being interviewed on a show. And they just fell in love with me, my voice, my personality. And they asked me, "Have you ever considered being in radio?" And I said, "Absolutely. I would love to. I have a voice that needs to be heard. People respect my opinion. They like to hear from me. So I would be honored to have my own platform." And then once I got it, I got thrown to the wolves. My first show was a 2-hour show. I was a personality. I was a program director. I was my own DJ. So me starting out with such a critical foundation, my one show, Gotta Love Me Radio show, 10 years ago, now it came to the point I worked on different radio stations from FM to college to online to now actually owning my own radio station 10 years later.
Okay, so let's talk about when did this? I think you already always had this in your spirit, but as you was going down the journey of radio personality, concept of ownership was probably always a spark in you. When did you take that idea and turn it into reality?
When the door was open, I would just walk through it. So that was about 10 years ago, um, 2002, 3. And I'm like, here's my chance to speak to the people. Here's my chance to touch lives in a different way outside of music. So I took the opportunity and I ran with it. And I've helped so many people throughout the years, and I'm nowhere near done.
Also, you're a graphic designer. Tell us some of the things you've done because you do so many things. But how did that play into the mix with everything else that you were doing?
As an entrepreneur, it's great to have a team, but if you don't have a team, you can't use it as an excuse. I try to work with people, and sometimes it's hard waiting on others, so I decided to do it myself. I learned how to do graphics, and I was good, but I wasn't great. And then I met my amazing partner, DJ El Nino, who's been doing it for years, and he helped me learn more with like Photoshop and stuff. And we our dynamic was so amazing that we actually turned it into a business. So I started out doing graphics just for myself, and then we got together and started doing graphics for everyone out there, not just music artists and performers, but for entrepreneurs, because we live in a society where visuals is everything, and how you present yourself to others. People are looking at that, and first impressions is everything. So we just help everyone have a better look. So, it just worked out.
So when did you get the nickname T Quest? Where did that come from?
I got the name T Quest. I gave it to myself back in eighth grade. Like I said, I was a quiet nerd in school, and I'm like, I see people with nicknames. I want one. So one day, I was watching some random show. It was on some random station. I just saw a clear question mark, and I just stared at it for a moment. And out of nowhere, I just said T Quest. That's my nickname. Not knowing where it came from, but throughout the years, I realized it came to me because it actually means Tara's journey, and it's definitely been an interesting one.
Now, with all the other stuff you're doing, you also a voiceover specialist. What is a voiceover specialist, and what's some of the things that you've done in that part of your life?
Um, Voiceover specialist is definitely a special career to me, and it just came out of me just being me, being an artist, being a personality. Someone told me they needed a woman, three women for their skits on their comedy project, and I'm like, what kind of women are they? And they told me, and I just end up just doing it regularly because I'm an entertainer, and I just started changing my voice and changing my accents. And then as a music artist, DJs need drops. So I started to invest thousands of dollars in the studio to make drops for DJs because I knew that would help in my career. And after that, I started doing producing tags, and my voice started circulating so much that people started to contact me and said, I heard your voice on a mix. I heard you on the radio. How can I get some of your services? And it went from DJ drops to album skits to radio commercials to promo commercials, and soon I'm be doing the voice for a couple of audiobooks, and I'm just here. It's an amazing business. I love using my voice. I love being creative with it and to see the different things that I can do with it. And it's definitely an amazing career.
Is it any, I guess, commercials or drops that we hear that you've done?
Well, it depends. I've done it for different stations all over the country,
Okay.
and then they can always hear me in different clubs with DJs, and then they hear it on my website. So you probably have heard it, maybe not. The world is really big.
Yeah, but you getting around. So, but let's talk about the recording artist. I know you started out singing in the church when you were 6, 7 years old,
Mhm.
uh, and I probably know that's something close and dear to your heart. So tell us about that aspect. When did you first started recording? And I would imagine that you probably can. I know you can sing, but you probably can rap as well. So tell us about that part of your career.
Okay. Yes, I started singing in the church and dancing at a young age, and then around high school is when I started doing hip hop music. So when I first came into the music industry, I came in as a rapper, singer, and dancer. I first started officially recording right before I turned 18, like the month before. I had to do a song at church one time, and I did a gospel song. It's more of like my testimony, and the pianist, he was like, yo, that was dope, I like that. You ever recorded? I said no. He told me he had a studio. He said, would you like to record? And I said absolutely. And that was my first time recording, and then I did my first hip-hop show, and I haven't stopped ever since.
Wow. So are you currently working on something new for 2022?
Right now, I do have some things that I am currently working on, but I haven't released anything because so much has changed in the last couple of years, especially with the whole pandemic and stuff. And I even changed as a woman as an artist, as an entrepreneur. So when I pick up the pen and pad this time around, I want to make sure that I'm writing music for the woman I am today. So I don't want to rush my creativity, but yes, new music from the new me will be released this year.
How has this pandemic affected you with all the things that you're doing, and how has it changed your approach to the businesses that you're a part of?
Well, as a full-time entertainer, it hit me pretty hard because it happened right before, I was planning to do tours. My whole life was about to change drastically. And I'm like, okay,
Mm.
I'm about to have a new beginning. I'm about to be on tour. I'm about to travel. I'm about to find where I want to be, where I want to belong, where I want to live. Like, I'm just ready for this new change. And then we all shut down. I'm like, what just happened to my life? But
Wow.
at the end of the day, we always hit in different ways. And I'm like, I can just sit here and be depressed and stressed and just be sad, or I could just be realistic to my reality, because no matter what, we all got to hit um as society. But at the
Hmm.
same time, them bills are still coming on the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So you still got to figure out something. So I was just like, you know what? I'm still going to continue doing what I'm doing, but I'm going to learn how to do it digitally so I could do everything still online. So I could still be bringing in money, so I could still take care of my bills and do what I have to do. That's why I always tell people you have to be realistic to your reality. Figure out what you're going to do. I understand we're all going through something, but that excuse is not going to work, especially when you have bills to pay. Figure it out. And if,
So,
as you can tell, a lot of entrepreneurs have a roles in this situation, and it's all about just taking advantage of it.
how have you evolved as a person uh, with this whole change that not only the world had to go through, but you had to change your approach. And as you was changing your approach to survive and do the things that you're doing, how did you evolve, and how is your growth level? Where are you at spiritually now in 2022 as you look back on that this 2 year period?
Well, to be honest, my life changed a year or so beforehand, and I was
Okay.
going through a traumatic, sad time in life, and the pandemic just added on to it. And I'm like, something has to give. So in the midst of me changing everything, work wise, I'm like, I'm gonna take this time to make sure I'm okay. Instead of focusing on my self care, my self awareness, my self healing. And I just broke all the way down to build myself right back up. And
Mm.
I'm glad I took that time, because most people don't take the time to make sure they're okay. And I had to do that, and I had to be a little selfish. A lot of people didn't like it, but in that moment, it wasn't about them. It was about me and my life, my happiness, my spirit, my soul. And for the fact that I did that now, I'm even better than I was before, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. And I'm just ready to walk in this new journey of life.
Now you said a year before the pandemic you went through something that was sad. How did your spirituality and your being raised by two pastors as a foundation, how did that help you through that sad time and throughout the pandemic?
It allowed me to really pull on the strings of everything that I was taught, to still stay positive, to still pray, to still have faith, and still believe that God is going to see me through. Because I always knew I was destined for greatness, and we all just have our down moments, but I just got to make sure I stay above water and do what I got to do to make it to the next day and the next part of my journey.
Now, what can we expect from T Quest in the next couple years? What is your goal for 2024, 2025, a few years down the road? Where is this multi-talented young lady going? Where would you like to be at?
I'm going to be in a place that I was destined to be in. You know, a lot has happened during my journey, a lot of traumatic situations, a lot of heartache that a lot of people didn't know because I never voiced it. I stayed
Mm.
positive throughout my journey, even if I had many nights where I've cried and screamed and just so distraught. But I know I was
Mm.
destined to touch the world in such a special way. That's why my quote is the quest effect is real, because I was destined to be here to help people, to heal people, to change their lives. And even though I've done it so much already, in the next few years, it's going to be even more phenomenal. And I'm going to be that artist I was destined to be. I'm going to be that writer I was destined to be. This is my season. I'm taking advantage of it. And I can't wait to show myself. I can't wait to do things amazing for my family, for my communities. It's just going to be something very enchanting that's going to happen within myself and everyone I'm attached to in the next couple of years. And I'm excited to see it.
You know, one of the things is people are talking about this last year or two is mental health. And that's what you're talking about, the mental health aspect that you came through. So if there's anybody out there listening today, share with them some of the things to help you get through that period with just mental health, because it's really big. I mean, it's more young African Americans committing suicide today than ever. I mean, in high school, junior high school. So what would you tell young people today who might be dealing with some mental health issues, how to get through it?
I will tell them to try your best to learn yourself, self-care, self-love, self-awareness. Try to stay positive as much as you can. Try to do things that make you happy. If you do the littlest things, it's going to add up. You know, if you need to watch one of your favorite shows just to put a smile on your face for the day, do that. If you're on a diet and you need some carbs, like some ice cream to make you happy in that moment, do that, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your future self that is counting on you to be good so they can be great. We were all put on this earth for a reason. We are all here for a purpose. We was all designed specifically to be here. And I just got to remind people that you are amazing. You are wonderful. You may not feel it now, but you owe it to yourself to get to that point so you can understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. Because everyone is just a flower that's ready to be blossomed. And I'm trying my
Yeah.
best to help be a part of that sunshine.
So as we close out T-Quest, we always ask our guests to bless us. But before we do that, how can people connect with you directly? Is there any websites with all the 200 things that you're doing? Is there, how can people reach you directly, young lady?
Well, I make it very easy for fans and supporters. They could just follow me on all social media sites at TQuestGLM, standing for Gotta Love Me. You could put it in Google, and then all my social media will pop up. You can go to tquestglm.com. Like everything TQuestGLM, you'll be able to find me. You know, my email's there, my social media is there, my phone number is there. I'm here. And I always tell people, whether you need me for business or just someone to talk to or some words of inspiration, all you have to do is contact me and I'll make it happen. Because at the end of the day, we all are going through a lot, but we still have to try our best to be here for one another.
So just go to T-Quest GLM with God Loves Me, and all the social media tags will pull up and you can reach it directly. Now, as we close out, I always ask our guests to bless us with a statement of prayer. And you being the daughter of two pastors, could you leave us with a prayer this morning?
Absolutely. Dear God, I thank you for allowing myself to wake up this morning. I appreciate you for me being here, being a voice on this platform. Allow me to be present for Chill to recognize me and my gifts. I pray for everyone that's listening right now. I pray for everyone who will listen to it after. I won't be long winded, but I pray that everyone understands that we are all going through, but we can make it through because the Lord will never give us more than we can handle. At the end of the day, life is a roller coaster. We're going to have our ups and down moments, but it's going to be thrilling and exciting at the same time. And you owe it to yourself to get through. It may seem hard, but we're all going to get through it. And if you're here today, you are blessed. If you have a roof over your head, you are blessed. If you have food on your table and clothes on your back, you are blessed. And keep reminding yourself that you're here for a purpose and here for a reason. And in your down moments, all you got to do is pray and allow God to help see you through. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. This is Tara T. Quest Little. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your testimony and your vision for the future. God bless you and your family and your ministry as T Quest. So we'll be talking to you again soon. Thank you so much, T Quest, for coming on today.
You're welcome. I appreciate you.
This is Chili Most from Coast to Coast. Peace. Because you know I love you, baby.